director that we've just watched is we have to move, as Will tells Blake. It does seem to engender.
Trying to, once you've made the decision to make the movie in one shot, you know that you don't want to get stuck simply following the characters. And the normal grammar of movies mean that you need to, you use cuts to establish place. You cut closer perhaps for emotion, wider for geography, all of those things. But we wanted to do all of that without ever cutting.
So one of the first things Sam said when we started talking is, let's not think about the how, let's think about what we want and where we want to put the camera. And then we'll figure out the technique, the why. And then we'll figure out, or you'll figure out the technique later. So that's basically it. It's very refreshing. I mean, I suppose it's not dissimilar to any other film. It's just a certain complexity level.
I think
images, but it's like a gravitational force that won't let you go. That's what I wanted it to feel. I think what we both wanted it to feel like. Strange things when you're watching a movie in which there are no edits. And the operator was holding the camera, but Roger was controlling where it looked remotely from a van on two wheels, which is, as you know, if you've been if you've seen any remotely operated cameras, is how you do it. And that the distance between his van and the camera was often a quarter of a mile away. And sometimes I would say cut to the lads, and they couldn't hear me because they were 500 yards over the hill.
So to have that time beforehand, because it was the most mutual collaboration I've ever had on a job, and the insight that you gain from just simply being around everyone who's making it, you all inform each other, and oftentimes just because of this sort of the structure of the structure of how films are made, the system of kind of who comes in at what stage and what they do when they're there and how people react to them when they do enter is often sort of a bit is imbalanced and it keeps you quite separate. Where with this, being around everyone's point of view and learning that as we went, it completely informed my own my own role within it, and also the character itself. And learning more about how you give information and when you give information through a camera informed kind of how as a human, and because of Sam and Roger's knowledge of how humans then receive that, then I think, well, as a human myself, how I see information affects.
Did that theatre experience help you to play Blake in this particular fashion?
I mean, it definitely helped a lot. I mean, filming this film never really was like I was actually filming a film. It was honestly more like a play being filmed by a camera. Billy Elliot was like 3 hours long. You can't miss out. And neither can you in this film either. Then you've got to go again. So yeah, definitely. I mean, playing stuff, it feels like choreography from the moment you start to finish, and the same as this. The actors' relationship with the camera was so crucial. It was almost like a dance with the flow of movement. So definitely having that background in theatre and sort of having rehearsal periods and stuff, it helped a lot.
I'm just going to go to France and drive around and see the sort of the landscape in the area, because I've done a lot of research and read a lot of first-hand accounts, but there's something about going there, seeing how the land rises and falls. Because also as a writer, you have the scene header and you're like, we're interior or exterior in this location, and very quickly on with the script I realised, okay, so this is going to be a different beast, because you're not going to be interior or exterior, it's going to be a constant ongoing thing, there's never going to be a cut. So I went and I visited, my mum actually came with me, and I remember I was writing the script as we were going along, and I'm a terrible speller, so I was having her read it, and she read Blake's death scene, and then she told me I'd ruined her holiday. So I knew I was onto something. I was like, yes.
It isn't, but we were discussing this earlier. One of the complicated things about it was that the locations needed to fit the scenes, and normally, obviously, if you're making a conventional film, you can simply, when the scene gets to an end, you cut away, or if you have, you think you need a bit more dialogue, you add a bit more dialogue in. As they're walking down the length of the trench, the seam has to fit that length of trench, and you know, sometimes they would be marking out the seams in their rehearsals, and Sam would say, this trench not long enough, you're going to have to dig some more trench, or you're going to have to get the trench to go that way now. And you could see the poor production designer sort of doing his stare, which he used to do quite a lot, of sort of sheer terror. But also it was the complications of knitting together those locations, which they were all in the UK, but we had locations in Scotland, in Northumberland, down in the south of England, and stitching them in a way that felt like a cohesive piece of geography. And